It's not a midlife crisis, it's a midlife awakening. It only becomes a crisis if we stay asleep.
Hello, and welcome to Soul via Soul. I'm your host, Jada, and this is a show where we will help you navigate your midlife awakening with inner child healing and holistic health tools from a therapist and physician assistant so you can create a life that you love and one that loves you back. Your dreamy second half of life. From nervous system regulation to techniques to healing your inner child, I've got it all covered. So let's dive into the show.
Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about what it is to have a midlife awakening. Now, I made a post the other day that was a quote from another person, and it was, "It's not a midlife crisis, it's a midlife awakening. It only becomes a crisis if we stay asleep." And that really resonated with so many people that I really want to talk more about that. And let's break that down a little bit more, because so many people commented, reached out, and the post now has reached almost 100,000 people. And there's been probably 12,000 people that have really liked it, and so many thousands that have shared it. And why does that resonate? Why is this midlife crisis slash midlife awakening, where we have this new realization of what it is to enter our midlife? So let's talk about midlife. Now, someone asked me the other day, what is midlife? And that they wanted to invest in one of my programs, but they're like, I'm not in midlife. Can I still do it? Do I qualify? Yes, of course. Midlife technically is defined between ages 40 and 60. However, I have been hearing from younger and younger people who feel like they're going through what they're calling a quarter life crisis. And not even crisis, but a time where we reevaluate. But what we're talking about is having this awakening. So we've got two things. We've got midlife, which is anywhere between enough life experience and not quite dead yet, and awakening. Now, a lot of people cling to this crisis word. Why? And why did it resonate when we said, but it's not a crisis, it's actually an awakening. It only becomes a crisis if you stay asleep. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So midlife, again, and that's a broad range, wherever you find yourself contemplating life, where you start to go, you know what, I don't feel purposeful. All of these things which come to a head and we go, something has got to change. Now those are our aha moments or I'm done moments, where you come to this pinnacle and you go, no more. Now, personally, that's happened to me lots of times in my life. And where you come to this point of understanding that what is the status quo is no longer what you desire. Now, there's some theories that we actually every 7 years reinvent ourselves. So, and if we take a look at that and break our life into chunks, it kind of makes sense in some regard, because our brains are in our subconscious wavelengths from 0 to 7. Everything that we learn from 0 to 7 becomes hardwired. It's super important. Those are critically important years, because whatever drops into our subconscious is actually going to be dictating our life in the future. So if you're not living your best life right now, if you're finding yourself like, you know what, Jada, maybe I'm not midlife, but something has got to change, and you know that it's time to make a change, it could be because you're bumping up against those beliefs that you formed between the ages of 0 and 7. Because those are hardwired. Those are dropped into our subconscious, because when we're children, our brain waves are in a subconscious brainwave pattern. It's not until we get into teenage and adult years that our brain waves actually change. But the subconscious messages that we learned are how we live and start our adult life. So if those messages If those messages are, I'm not good enough, um, I'm not lovable, those are going to be what we attract in our adult life. And it's sometimes not until midlife or we've had enough life experience that we say, I am now realizing that that's what's coming into my life. Unhealthy patterns, toxic relationships, feeling stuck or not passion filled in life might be because we're bumping up against those subconscious beliefs that started when we were from 0 to 7 about I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to have more of what I desire in life. I'm not lovable, therefore I'm attracting toxic, unhealthy relationships. That's exactly what my Unbecoming program does. It takes us back to that inner child. We heal that parts of ourselves. We heal and change the narrative into I am lovable, I am worthy, I am all that in a bag of chips, and I deserve every wonderful thing that's coming into my life. And when we change that narrative, what starts to show up is in alignment with that belief. But we sometimes don't even know that until midlife, or again, until we have enough life experience that we suddenly run up against what are those false narrative and limiting beliefs about our worth that were hardwired between ages 0 and 7. So when we get to this midlife part, we all of a sudden go, wait a second, I want healthy relationships. I want a beautiful, passion-filled life. That's where the awakening part comes in. Because an awakening, technically, if we were to even just talk about what an awakening is, it's really when we come up against that part of our lives that we feel we are coming back to ourselves. It's an awareness of a new reality of who we truly are. And that's really where the awakening comes into part, is we kind of realize in that moment, this life I'm living is really not a match for who I truly am. I want more. I deserve more. And there comes a point, that aha moment or that I'm done moment, where we realize something has got to change. That's often when we're ready to do the work of healing, so that I can create that big, beautiful life that I want. But first we have to get under our worth. And if we don't feel worthy of having that big, beautiful life, then we're never going to be a match for that. You know, Einstein said we're energy. Everything is energy. Our thoughts are energetic. Our feelings are energy in motion. The things that we are walking around in this world, we are energetic beings. And we are going to be a match for the energy that we are emitting. And if we are emitting those low frequency emotions, or I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm broken, or any of those low level frequencies, that's what we're going to attract, because like attracts like. When we go back and do that inner child healing, we rewire, we hardwire these new beliefs that I am deserving, I am good enough. And that's the awakening. That's when we awaken to realizing we've always been beautiful, whole, perfect beings. And when we start to believe that, our energy changes. When we start to believe that story, that narrative, that we are worthy, we are deserving of good things, guess what? We become an energetic match for those things to start coming into our lives. We wake up, so to speak. This is our awakening, that we really are remembering that we are beautiful, whole, and complete just the way we are. We decide that it's time to change things a little bit so that we can create that big, beautiful tomorrow, that we can create the life that we know we deserve and one that we want. Those desires are in your heart for a reason. Those dreams that you have, they're in there for a reason. They're part of your future. And ironically, in order to get to that big, beautiful future, we sometimes have to take a step backwards. We have to journey backwards and inwards so that we can reclaim and rewrite our narrative about our worth. For me, it's smack dab in the middle of my 30s when I looked around and I had done enough therapy to realize that I was walking around with a false narrative about my worth. And not surprisingly, I was attracting unhealthy, toxic relationships. And really sadly, it's hard for me to even admit this, but I didn't even know they were toxic or unhealthy. My guardrail, my threshold was so low. Again, I hate to even admit this, but it was so low, I didn't even know what healthy was. Doing the work on my own, going to 5 years of therapy, really digging in and looking in and finding what it was to truly understand my worth, I was able to let go of those unhealthy behaviors. I was able to create those energetic frequencies of love and joy and passion, all those high level frequency vibrations, and my life changed. That's exactly why I created the programs and courses that I have. The work that I did with myself changed my life. And I've created these things to help you do the same. Now, if you're ready for your midlife awakening, awesome. Let's get to it. If you're still in that mulling period, great. Sit there, stay there, as long as you need to. Everyone's journey is different. But when you're ready to have that aha moment, I'm done, it's time to do the work, and I'm here to help you along the way. So, midlife awakening, welcome. It's the time when we decide that we're really going to come back to ourselves. We're going to do the work to truly align with the things that bring us the most joy. And we know to our bones that we are absolutely worthy and deserving of having everything we want in this life and creating a better second half of life. A life that you love and one that loves you back.
Thank you for joining me today on another episode of Soul via Soul. If anything resonated with you, share it with your friends on Instagram and give me a 5-star review. I really appreciate you being here. And until next time, I'll see you on the next episode.